Mhm.
And we can't get both, we can't use both of our earpods, right?
No, why would we need to?
Just put our AirPods in and it would make the sound better, but I don't know if we can connect both at the same time.
No, I don't think we can. I don't think we need to either.
This is episode 3.
I don't know. Don't we have another episode or two like we already had pre-recorded, or
Yeah,
this could be episode like 4, maybe.
I'm just saying, what number should we need? Welcome to another episode.
Yeah, I think that's a better.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's better.
So that way, we can release.
Wait for Jordan to join again. On. And we're live. Can you hear? Are you coming through?
Hello, gentlemen.
Jordan, welcome. Thank you for taking the time.
Absolutely. It's coming in a little choppy.
Is it fucking shit?
A little bit, but let's make do.
We're gonna make do.
Okay.
I think the connection will get better.
I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Oh wow, the camera's much different on this.
This is much better.
Yeah, that's better. Jordan, hi, good to meet you.
Likewise.
So, hi everybody, and welcome back to the OMNI podcast with a new episode. We have a special guest with us today. He is a Web3 expert, and he's gonna share with us some insights on the industry and what's new for the internet.
Yes.
Yeah, Jordan, thanks for coming on. I mean, I think we should start off by telling everyone a little bit about what you do.
Absolutely. So first of all, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for the invitation. So super briefly, my name is Jordan Gutt, and I am the Customer Experience Manager and Web3 lead at the Glimpse Group. The Glimpse Group is a global immersive technology company comprised of multiple 3D, VR, and AR software and services subsidiaries. I've been working there for 3 years, and I'm really enjoying how this VR industry is developing. As a collector in NFTs and enthusiast in Web3, I've been able to lead their strategy and different projects that involve blockchain and NFTs. So that's a pretty brief background, and yeah, let's get into it. Whatever you all have
Fantastic
for me today. Happy to clarify that if it's a little bit dense.
Yeah, so
yeah, you're gonna have to break that up for us.
I think most people don't really have a full awareness of this Web3 world.
Yeah,
meaning,
what is coming towards
what
us?
is coming? What is the next chapter? Are you working in that industry now? Is this what we're talking about?
Yeah, so really, we've been in this type of stagnant period ever since the iPhone came out. There's been innovation, but we're getting to a plateau on this innovation curve. So every 10 to 20 years, there is a new breakthrough that leads to a whole new type of applications and innovations and use cases and apps and billion-dollar companies. You might have noticed that the app is the computing capability, camera, and whatnot. So it's a pretty steady innovation curve that we have here. But I don't want to get too bogged down on this. So you might have heard about VR or Oculus or Meta or the Metaverse,
I have an
and
Oculus, yeah.
that's amazing. I have one too. I'm in my apartment right here. This is the formerly known, used to be the Oculus Quest 2. Now it's the Meta Quest 2 after Facebook rebranded from Facebook to Meta. And essentially, we're used to computing in a 2D world. We're used to our phones and computers, but now with better graphics cards and more computing power, things are becoming more 3D. We're humans and we live in a 3D world, so it's pretty natural that we'll compute in a 3D world. So thanks to Meta, they've spent billions and billions of dollars creating a really nice consumer handheld mobile VR headset, and that's really taken the VR and immersive technology industry to this next level. I wouldn't call it consumer mass adoption yet, but really we're getting to a phase where people are accepting that we're going to have this immersive technology in our lives. And now I think it would be a great time to understand the type of balance that we want to see in these new technologies with our life.
Very, very interesting.
What are some since I myself I also have an Oculus 2, or Meta Quest 2, but I really don't. I'm pretty sure I'm underutilizing it to the fullest extent. I really use it to watch videos. I try the meditation app Trip. But
nice, yeah.
Sounds good.
What I wanted to ask, how can I combine my Meta Quest with my MacBook Pro to have an integrated experience?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think a lot of people are finding themselves in your same position. So one of the best games out there is Beat Saber. People actually use it to work out. There's a lot of fun stuff to do in that. But other than entertainment and gaming, like, to be frank, like, there's not much you could do with the headset. Like, you wouldn't want to wear it more than 45 minutes to an hour at a time, because it still looks like a shoebox on your head. And that's just
there's adverse effects that we haven't disclosed yet.
There are aftermarket headsets that I believe make the user experience a bit more comfortable. I myself have an extended battery headset, but it actually takes a lot of the pressure off, so I can use the Quest for 1 to 2 hours without really like I've watched full-length movies.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. And it's really the headset, the way the what do you call this part? The front part? The headset.
The headset. The main
weighs
part.
on your face
Scope.
is very uncomfortable, but there's it's a different.
Yeah, they have the Elite strap, and then so that balances out the headset a little bit more. It takes the pressure off your face and distributes it more to your head.
They're
putting
accessories for
this
already. It's amazing. I mean, naturally, this is the way things go.
Accessories, tons. It's like the Wii,
Right.
How many accessories did they have for the Wii?
The steering wheel, the tennis racket, and all the other stuff.
Literally that. Literally all of them.
So Jordan, I think we had a conversation a few weeks ago, or was it just a week ago? It doesn't matter. And we did a general rundown on what Web3 is. What is Web3 for the audience?
I love that question. So
you got it.
Put simply, Web3 is the next iteration of the web. So we're currently in Web 2 right now. And Web 2 has really been dominated by these big tech players, really dominated by the advertising and attention business model. And Web 3 is an opportunity to give the power back to the end user and create a web an internet that prioritizes the end user from a data perspective, from a usability perspective, giving the power back to the end user rather than these more centralized, bigger companies taking advantage of the user. You might have heard, if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product.
Right.
For example, Facebook seems like a free service for everyone, but other than scrolling on the timeline, your behavior and whatever you do on your phone is being tracked and then resold to advertisers. So advertising, if you like it or not, it's up for debate, but I would like to see a web and internet that is better and prioritize the end user. So what is Web3? Let's talk about Web 1. Web 1 is when you were interact. And I know the Wi-Fi and it might be choppy or whatever, but we're rolling with it. So Web 1 is when you could only look at static websites like blogs and Google search pages is really one way. Web 2, one way.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, remember AOL?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bing.
Yes, Bing. Before it was Bing.
Yahoo.
Yeah.
Yahoo. In Web 2, you started to
Yahoo.
have.
Yahoo. You ever Yahoo account?
Oh no.
You ever have?
I had MSN.
All right, sorry.
Oh yeah, MSN. I always wanted MSN, but like.
Yeah, you ever have like a crazy weird
I
email
had
account
MSN,
as a
and
young
then they
kid?
discontinued it, so I haven't like .msn like at msn.com.
My screen name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. Good graphic.
Like AIM and shit. That's the real shit.
AIM.
What's your ASL? But before it was pretty.
What about BBM on Blackberries?
That's the good
shit.
shit.
RIP.
I would kill for BBM right now.
That would be great. That was like WhatsApp before WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Kind of. It was like iMessaging.
Is there a documentary about the downfall of BlackBerry? Because I didn't watch it.
Yeah, honestly, that would make for a good documentary.
And then they're nowhere to be found.
I had one or two.
I had a bowl of man. I was a BlackBerry.
Well, you were a BlackBerry diehard.
Yeah, I was really. Yeah. And then poof. All right, we digress.
Yeah,
back to Web 2.
Web 1 is you could only read and not very interactive. Web 2, it became more interactive. You could create posts, and leave comments and shit like that. There's an explosion of user-generated content. Right. YouTube videos, tweets, Facebook and Instagram. So you could read and write to the internet. In Web 3, you could read, write, and own on the internet. So you could own digital assets like NFTs, Metaverse virtual property, and Ethereum and Bitcoin. And Web 3, you need a Web3 wallet to participate in the ecosystem. And that wallet acts as your username, password, and user ID for any decentralized application.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very fascinating thing to see when this transition really takes place. When are we going to really adopt this?
It's true. And right now, there's a lot of friction to getting into Web3 because the primary way to secure your wallet is with a seed phrase. And a seed phrase are 12 random words that you are assigned when you create your wallet. And it's best practices to take out a little notepad, write down your seed phrase, and don't share it with anyone. You don't want to take a picture about it. You don't want to save it in your computer. And you really want to keep that offline. So there's a lot of friction to get into it. So I don't blame people for.
Isn't that counterintuitive or counter-progressive towards? It's just funny because one of the safety features of as the internet progresses and as we integrate more with the internet, one of the safest things you can do is by keeping it off the internet.
Yeah, it's true because the idea behind keeping it offline is that these hackers are getting more and more sophisticated. Yeah. And when they see a seed phrase like out in the open, they're going to try it. And the key with these wallets is that you're the custodian of your wallet rather than a centralized service taking care of your account. You're the one who's taking care of it. So yeah, that's what it's all about in Web3.
Sorry, do you have a hard wallet like a Ledger or?
Yeah. So there are multiple ways to secure your digital assets, and when you create a wallet, there are hot wallets that are connected to the internet, and then there are cold wallets that are cold and offline. So it's best to use a hardware wallet when you have like really any wallet should be a hardware wallet, but it makes it more difficult to transact and whatnot. But once you want to really secure your assets, you'll send it to your hard wallet, cold wallet.
Recommend any trusted brands? Because I mean, if you're gonna stash hard coin, no pun intended, or soft coin, really, on a wallet, which would you recommend for our viewers and for me? Like, because
Yeah,
I also I've been browsing, but there's so many brands, and which one's trusted, which one is, you know, the more user friendly overall.
yeah. I would really like. I really like Ledger. Ledger is like the name brand in the field. They have a really good user experience. Another good one is Trezor. I haven't really looked into it, but those are the two big names that are the cold storage wallets.
Is Ledger, and this is where we are not sponsored by Ledger yet.
But we will take inquiries.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll be sponsored by it.
Another cool thing about
The link below.
Like
another cool thing about Web3 is that it's really culture oriented, because when you're buying into some NFTs, it's all about culture and community and society as well. So there's a lot of change involved in Web3, and it will take a whole societal shift to get people on board with Web3.
Oh,
So
Was it John?
what were you
wait,
saying?
so I said he needs to be smoking too.
He might be stoned. Who knows?
I'll grab a pen in a moment.
There we go.
We like the pens here.
We all have to be on the same level at this point.
Why? It's like everyone has
It's
their own
better
right,
if we're all
their
on
right
the same
to
level.
consciousness.
Fair enough.
But I agree.
That's a pressure.
Jordan, get some weed out.
All right.
We are in New York. This is a legal recreational state, and we all have marijuana.
This is
ID cards. So
that's right. That is right.
come again.
I think that on smoking this joint as well, which has influenced my thought process now.
Lightweight.
I think that
We drive a forklift right now.
yeah, easily.
Right into a wall.
I think that Web3 is exciting. I think
Oh, no,
we're all
I
ready for this.
I think but tell me, how do you see you know, like VR evolving in the next, I don't know, 5 years? Because it's happened so rapidly. So
Did you say VR or Web3?
well, what's the difference between VR and Web3?
Oh, that's a great question. So Web3 is usually based on 2D interfaces. Well, actually, let's start with VR. So VR is really just a computer that you wear on your head. There's VR, virtual reality, and augmented reality. VR is when you're in a fully immersed virtual world, and AR, augmented reality, is when you're viewing the real world with artificial overlays in your environment. So one, VR, you're fully immersed in a virtual world. AR, you still see the real world, and then you see some 3D overlays in your real world around you.
What would be an example of AR, real quick?
Sorry, of what?
What would be an example of AR? Because VR obviously is the Oculus headset, What
Right.
would be an example? Sam just said Snapchat. Is that
Yeah, absolutely. So anytime you've ever used a Snapchat face filter or Instagram filter,
Yeah.
there is augmented reality involved. It's coming through your camera feed, and there's some face tracking involved, and then you're having overlays of some graphics on your face.
okay? Now, do you see like whatever happened to Google? Just to rewind, because I was always interested in why AI really hasn't like taken off. Like Google Glass, do you remember that?
Yeah, absolutely. So there was a big problem with Google Glass. Society wasn't ready for people to wear glasses on their face with a camera on it. You didn't know if you're being recorded or what data was being kept up, and it was really unappealing for someone to walk into a coffee shop and have this functional camera gizmo on their face. And this was before iPhones and stuff when people are always used to posting. So
Like
in
two-
technology, there's a rule of thumb. If you're early, you're wrong, and if you're late,
you're
you're
right.
wrong. So you really want to be in that sweet spot.
On time.
Yeah.
On time. What do you think the
Do you
most
think it would come back, like this sort of technology?
Yeah, like, well, first of all, it's a really difficult problem to
Ready to-
solve. Uh, Having real like augmented reality overlays on your glasses, because you you're probably on a Mac right now. Is that right?
Yes.
Imagine wearing your Mac on your face.
Well, if it was
See,
light enough,
Yeah, I mean, if this program was fitted into goggles that fit on my face, it would
or not even
be a very
goggles. I want to.
easy experience.
I
Like
want to
we're so
accelerate
used to it.
to a point where computing gets to we can fit entire our entire MacBook on a set of
So
Ray-Bans.
you're thinking about just getting a chip in your brain at this point, right?
I'm no, not even. We don't have to even pierce the. I think computing can get to a point, especially
That's coming, right?
especially if we switch from silicon to diamond computing, we could get goggles. Am I wrong?
no, you're no. So Facebook is actually Meta is working on this right now, but essentially everything has to get much smaller and more energy efficient and lighter and less expensive in order for all these things to happen to get augmented reality in glasses.
This is why we need to get rid of the diamond cartels.
Mm.
For sure.
Yeah, I think this is definitely happening in the next
because
decade,
no,
right? We're gonna
diamonds,
have
diamonds.
this is
Like I think
technology.
diamonds are the
here.
next level of you know energy storage and computing.
Really?
Oh yeah, I mean you're able to encrypt more on them. They're able to hold more information, and look,
Diamonds? Where are we applying? Tell me about what we're doing with these diamonds.
you can
to make
use them
hold
as well. I'm not an expert on the subject, and I don't pretend to be. I
Right.
just read a little bit about it, and I
just
thought it
wanna
was
know
pretty
what
interesting.
form
And it
these
held.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're like it's not fucking like not actual like 10-carat diamonds, like
Right.
diamond nano sheets.
Okay.
They're lighter. They're more they're less sensitive to heat.
Right.
Silicon's very sensitive to heat. That's why we have big fans to cool everything. But obviously we can't do it because diamonds are expensive. Even lab-made diamonds. So I think there's an artificial hold on that. And I don't want to take over the podcast with this because I'd rather have someone who's more. Yeah, but I'd rather have someone who's more knowledgeable on that than I am. I just
We'll get a guest one day then. Please, if you are knowledgeable in diamonds and rare
computing,
gemstones, and diamond
carbon computing,
please reach out to us. Our link is in the description below.
And don't forget to like, subscribe,
right here,
and follow us for more content.
All right.
We gotta get better at that.
Jordan, when did this all begin? When did you have a love for technology, computing, the computer dimension? When did this? Where did this begin?
Great question. So we'll go back a little bit to high school, 12th grade in high school, South Florida. I had just gotten into Boston University. Shout out to the Terriers. And I was in stats class, and I said to my friend, wouldn't it be cool if you could exchange your contact information with the press of a button? And he goes, yeah, that's pretty cool. You should do that. You should make that. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna make that. I don't know how to code. Like, I've never done this shit before, but I'm gonna do that. Like, why not? I have some time on my hands. I already knew where I was going to college, so I did all the research I can, and didn't have much movement until I was at Boston University and meeting all these people. And there's a spark that it got ignited when I was meeting all these new people, and they're like, oh, like, can I have your Instagram and Snapchat and add you on Facebook? And I was like, damn, all right, this is some validation for me. I'm just gonna continue with this. So I sketched out what I wanted the screens to be, and I hired a team of developers in India to put this shit all together. And we created an app called Sync. So you create your profile card with your name, number, email, website, and social media handles, and press the sync Bluetooth button. That would open up a Bluetooth field around you, and then anyone else who had the sync app and had their Bluetooth field open would see your card and be able to collect your card. That was when I first got involved in technology, but there's a fatal flaw in sync that cut the network effects to zero. You needed the sync app in order to sync. So
limiting. If you could communicate with the operating system directly, that would be
exactly. So this is actually ironic because we're living in 2023 now, and people know what QR codes are, but this was back in 2016, 17. So we came up, in order to defeat that fatal flaw, we added a QR code onto the profile card. So you could just scan the QR code and collect the card on the web app instead of downloading the mobile app. But at the time, no one really knew how to use QR codes. So a little earlier than we'd like to be in today's date with that. So long story short, I brought on a co-founder and eventually sold my shares back to him. We didn't mesh well together. But that's all right. It was a learning experience. In the time where I was finishing up that little startup, I got involved in the BU VR AR club, and I tried this headset called the Microsoft HoloLens, and they actually just discontinued it this past year, which is unfortunate. It's a really great piece of technology. And when I put it on, it scanned the room to calibrate the tracking and started overlaying graphics around me. And I was like, holy shit, this is the future. I have to get involved in any way that I can. So I just started researching all I can about VR and AR and tried to find where I could fit into the industry. I'm not really technical. I wasn't a graphic designer or anything, but I knew that there's a place for me in the industry. So the real pivoting point for me is when I went to this MIT VR AR hackathon. It's really well known in the VR AR industry. And I found a team that needed a project manager, because it's actually funny. I don't know how many of you all have done a hackathon, but you find groups and you work on a project, and the key is to find people with complementary skill sets to yours, so you could actually hack together a little project over the weekend. So they needed a project manager, they needed a marketing person, and I fit that bill. So it's really interesting to have an inside look with these college engineers, and really opened my eyes to see how I could provide value in this really, really early industry. From there, I graduated, and then when I was looking for a job, I was applying to different tech companies, and I found the Glimpse Group, and really grateful to find the Glimpse Group. So what's unique about the Glimpse Group is that it is a holding company for 9 subsidiaries that each focus on a different category of VR and AR, from healthcare to education data visualization, marketing, upskilling workers. So one company just teaches people how to code VR and AR stuff in Unity and Unreal. And I found a place at Glimpse being a QA tester. I started off as a QA tester, and I would test these different VR and AR applications. And I remember my first day there, I went into one of these applications called Fortel. And Fortel, their main client was Yale, or is, we still work with them very closely, is Yale Medical School. And the use case was having these pediatric cancer patients meet in VR in a support group setting to talk about their illnesses, how they're feeling. And what really struck me was that I was really making an impact in these people's lives. And the cool part about VR is it allows people to connect even if they're not feeling well, if they don't want to go into a real support group, and they could customize their avatar to express how they're feeling.
They
Wow,
can use that
that's
during the
that's incredible. I never think about VR like being used in a therapeutic way. I think that's
well, it's going to
amazing.
touch on all
that's
aspects of
incredible.
life. It's gonna be used in design. It's going to be used in community building. It's really going to take echo chambers to a different level as well. If you think about it,
Yeah,
you're creating an immersive experience, and then I assume it's gonna develop much like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook algorithms, where they give you more of what you like,
oh,
based on
absolutely.
pretty early data points, and then you're like, okay, you like foxes, and here's this. It's like you can really tailor. It's so interesting when you look at, if you ever want to see something funny, just take your friend's phone and look at their Facebook or their Instagram, and it's a completely different world altogether. It's very tailored to them. You see what they like. You can really tell who a person is
Looking at their
based
Instagram.
based off of their social media.
For sure. And what could be scary about VR is how it eventually becomes addictive. We all know that TikTok and Instagram are already
Look
addictive.
at us already.
Yeah.
And this,
So I'm on Netflix,
yeah, some real Black Mirror stuff from time to time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, VR will evolve and find its place in our daily lives, but I think the real inflection point and when the real adoption is going to start happening is when the headset could actually replace your actual computer. So you won't have to have a computer and a headset, you'll just have a headset. So
like a laptop did to the desktop.
All right.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know anybody who has a desktop anymore.
No. It's like the iPhone did to the home phone. No one has a
Yeah,
home
no
phone.
one has a home phone anymore. Exactly.
Who gets a home telephone these days?
I dare to say that we might actually leapfrog over the headset, and I mean, we'll see.
Go to what? What do you think's next?
Some sort of transparent,
You see,
more
Yeah, some glasses. And we're already seeing some stuff like that. Like you all hear and see these headlines that Apple's coming out with a VR headset. Well, they already have it ready. It's in their lab, but they're not allowed to talk about it or show it off or anything. They're waiting for
what's going on.
Dude, it's gonna. Oh my god!
They probably have so many cool inventions that we have no idea about. They have to.
They have to.
Iterations of iPhones, of iPods. They small batches of bespoke, advanced. Yeah. Let's see some of these prototypes. Come on.
They say the secret, the hidden technology is at least 100 years ahead before we can really, as a society, adopt it, because we're very, I mean, think about it.
We can't handle it.
Yeah, well, and since we have shown, like, look what they did to Tesla. Anybody who's like, there are examples that people are light years ahead of us today, like in like working way, but companies and governments cannot share that with the common people because we're not ready for it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think Apple, they've outsold all the like music players, like the Walkmans with their iPod.
Right.
They
Oh, yeah.
outsold, they crushed BlackBerry and Nokia and whoever with their iPhone. And when they're ready to release their headset, they'll be the dominant player because that's what they do. They bring new technology to consumers' hands and do it at a really high level.
Yes.
But getting back to some other crazy technology stuff.
We got Apple Car. It's
Yeah.
all to be integrated into everything we do. Our fridges.
Now I wanted to ask you, if you're like, how well do you know the Oculus headset or the medical headset?
Can you repeat that first part?
How well do you know? How comfortable are you with the Meta headset?
I can confidently say I am the best in the world.
Wow.
Easy.
Okay.
Good.
All right. So then
Easy.
I have some very childish
This is an
questions.
honor.
And actually, I would love to have you. We need to have you on again because
Let's do a session. We'll do a VR session. I'll take you into Fortello. I love it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's go.
I'm gonna get your contact info after this, and then
Absolutely.
my God, this is so clutch,
Fantastic.
so clutch.
Yeah. So tell me, what do you want to know?
I wanted to add, like, how do I want to be able to duplicate my screen on my headset on my
Yeah, definitely.
like an integrated experience.
For sure. There are 3 apps I would recommend. There is
Pass me the phone.
there's it's called Big Screen. You could bring your computer into VR. So Big Screen. Immersed is another one.
Okay.
And the third one is Virtual Desktop. Very, very good name for what they do. So we got Big Screen. You could watch movies and meet other avatars in there. Immersed, they got a cool coffee shop, and I actually know people who do a lot of their work in Immersed. It's pretty good. And
Wow.
Virtual Desktop is a classic.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited that you're excited, to be honest.
Oh, dude, I'm such a progressivist when it comes to technology. I believe technology is a I don't know, they say it's a golem. It's you use it for what for good or bad. It's it has no inherent. It's neither good nor bad. It's for what you use it, and I believe, as history has shown, technological advancements have done nothing but increase our quality of life, and we have to, as a species, just become like humanity, and technology has existed side by side since the dawn of civilization. That's what
Absolutely.
makes us human, is technology. If not, we're just fucking animals with clothes.
For real, it really differentiates us. Like
it's clothes, because you need technology to make clothes,
Right,
so
right.
we're just animals. So
like the wheel, an amazing technology. A stick, amazing technology. Plastic.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
the looms that make toilet paper, everything.
Elevators.
Yes, elevators.
That's a great one.
Is the reason why I'm fat, and I'm fine with it.
You think so?
Well, no, I'm working on it. I can still deadlift. So don't try me. Throw you out the window.
No, I wasn't questioning your strength. I was just
Okay.
saying you think technology is the reason why you're overweight.
Technology is the reason why anybody's overweight.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, right now we're living in this extreme convenience
We're allowed to have
economy.
a sedentary lifestyle. So yes, technology is the reason why anybody. I mean, it's obviously your fault. You have to take responsibility for your health habits
All right.
in light of these new technologies. But without them, we would have fewer fat people.
We've got instant gratification and extreme convenience at our fingertips. So you want to order food, there's Uber Eats. You want a picture to send all your friends.
Right.
And
We have to go out in the woods and hunt and fish for our food.
Yeah. See. So
exactly.
Yep. All right. Well, I think this
Yeah.
was a great podcast, and appreciate you coming on tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to do this again.
Absolute pleasure.
Thanks
I'm
for
going to
taking the
take you
time.
up. Actually, this is what we should do. Let's have that VR session, and then I will, like make a YouTube video about it. And
Yeah.
share that with you guys as a
Yeah.
follow-up.
Let's do it. We
Great.
could do the next podcast in VR.
VR. Let's
Done.
do that.
Done.
Whoa.
Done. I'll bring my headset over. You need to get a headset, bro.
I need to get a headset.
You can honestly get a used one on Facebook Marketplace.
Is that
for
kinda
half the
gross?
price.
That's great. That's a great
And if-
insight, honestly.
Yeah, and if
Good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can just if you want to be clean about it, you can just buy a replacement. They have it's a cushion, so you could just get it.
Gotcha.
Like it's probably like a $5-10 replacement
Okay.
piece.
I'll look into it. This was fantastic. Jordan,
And,
Yeah.
everybody, just
Yeah.
get them used. There's tons of them.
everyone, get an Oculus.
All right,
Let's go.
join us on the Omni podcast. We're
We
working
need
on
to
an
get an
exit.
exit.
Yeah,
I think that's the next step
Yeah.
right now, is to come up with a good
You guys are going to
exit
see
outro.
the evolution of
An
this
outro.
podcast, and I'm excited.
I'm excited.
This is a project.
All right,
Bam, bam, ba-da.
all right, we're gonna hit it.
To the moon.
Good night, everyone.